Welcome to the Monday Night Fan Zone show. My name's Phil. We are live every Monday at 7:30. And the only thing we're going to talk about tonight is Leicester City. There is a lot to talk about, and we want your views. We want your comments. As ever, the show is always unscripted. It's all about whatever comments you guys want to get on there. We want your views. We want your comments on what is going on at Leicester City at the moment. It's a bit of a half full, half empty glass debate. Brendan Rodgers coming, Brendan Rodgers going. Who knows? Loads to talk about. I want your views and I want your comments in tonight's show.
Welcome to Leicester Fan TV. Are you ready for the show? Thanks to our sponsors, ADT Taxis, Everards, Pukka Pies, Pink Car Leasing, Leicester Riders, Hollogram, The Fox's Arms, Peter's Pizzeria, Hope Against Cancer, and Newby Co estate agents. We want your views, we want your comments, so join us live. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, good evening to you. Good evening to Carmen. Hope you're well, Carmen. Hope you're well. What do you think to Leicester City at the moment? Joe says, good evening. I'm all right. How are you, Joe? Want your views and I want your comments. Joe, get as many of them in as possible. Mateus, welcome. We are live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter tonight, as well as the website. Good evening, Matty Bond. Come on, Matty. What do you reckon? What's your take on what's going on? I want to know. Derek C is watching on YouTube. Reedy, welcome to the show. Hope you're well. Thanks for a good day's work today. Wayne says, what's going on, Phil, with players and manager? Where do you want to start with that, Wayne? Where do you want to start? Want to know your views and your comments there. Ross, watching from up there in sunny Sheffield, says, hey, Phil, great goal from Barnes, but doesn't change the fact that it wasn't good enough on Sunday. Ross saying not good enough. Do you agree with him? I'd certainly agree with a great goal from Barnes. Want to know what you think to that. Maz, good evening. Thank you for your comments. Maz, I want to know what your views are on yesterday's game. Listen, you guys lead this. I've got a few things for us here to talk about. And you can talk about this or you can not talk about it. So far, we're on 11 games and 15 points. I think that puts us, let me just check, that puts us in 12th position in the league, which, listen, we've all got a bit used to being a bit higher than that over the last few seasons, apart from winning the Premier League, finishing 5th, as we know. But I've done some maths, and we would end the season in 12th if we carry on at that rate. Look, I've got my little bit of light notes here. I've worked it out. 11 games, 15 points would give us 52 points at the end of the season, if my maths is right, which would put us, based on last year's table, in 12th at the end of the season. So it's sort of shaping up at the moment. There's a long way to go, obviously a long way to go, but it's shaping up as being a mid-season table at the moment. So I want to know what your views are on that. There's also Yuri's injury worries. He's got to have a scan. I don't believe he's had the scan yet, or we've certainly not got the results of it. So we can talk a little about Yuri Tillemans, the magic of Yuri. I believe he was voted best player in the Premier League in October. And then not the magic of Yuri Tillemans. He is a star man, but not always a star man. I want to know what you think to Yuri at the moment. And is that transfer talk with Yuri contract having a bit of an effect? And of course, we can talk about Brendan Rodgers to Manchester United. We can talk about it because it's all over bits of the media. I'm not sure I believe much of it, but listen, if you want to talk about it, we'll put it in there. And then we can talk about Boo Boys as well if you want to tonight. I'm more than happy to talk about Boo Boys. A bit of booing at certain points at the home matches in the last couple of ones. I think a bit more, personally, I think it's a bit more directed at some of the decisions and some of the performances. But do you agree with Boo Boys or not agree with them? Do you think Pete fans should be allowed to air their opinions, or do you think if they can't say anything constructive, they should keep us quiet? I want to know about that. Lewis wants to talk about Leeds, ran us ragged. Listen, I think we know how Leeds are going to play. They are fast and they are frantic. So it is interesting to see how they got it wrong. Rob wants to talk about VAR. Come on, Rob. The two incidents, I mean, I know the Lookman goal is very, very fine. If you look at when they stopped it, which is what I've seen is the ball hits Vardy's head and it's just off. We spent time today looking at it in the office, and you look at it and you think, well, look, when the ball's just left his head, it is off. It's very close. I mean, we all hate VAR, but Was it wrong twice, Rob? I don't know. Andrew, good evening to you. Says, I think Rodgers will go as he knows Tielemans will also leave. I do wonder, again, Andrew, if you could be on something there. Is there some sort of conspiracy theory which says Youri Tielemans hasn't signed a new contract because he's quite aware that Brendan Rodgers would take him wherever he goes, and if it was Man United, Youri Tielemans could, and Wilfred Ndidi could certainly get into the Man United midfield at the moment. Derek saying Leeds couldn't take advantage of our poor defence, luckily. He thinks he's in there. Mateus saying, at this point, I'll take top 10. Joe, yes, I am going to that one, so I'll see you there. But let's come back to Mateus. I'd take top 10. Listen, a couple of wins can make all the difference, can't they? A couple of wins. We are on 15 points. If we'd have won yesterday, we could have gone up to like 7th or 8th, depends on goal. We certainly would have been up to 8th on goal difference, and it would have looked a bit different. We've got some fixtures coming up, which we'll go through those in a bit. What I'm gonna do tonight, as ever on a Monday, I want to get as many of your comments on the screen as possible, okay? Because you don't want to hear from me, you want to hear from you. So Patrick saying we've been found out, all the other teams have sussed us out. Do you agree with Patrick? I think he is onto something. I don't think it takes a rocket scientist to work out how Leicester are going to play. Simon says it was a good game for the neutrals. I suppose there was some entertainment in there. 2 goals in 10 seconds perhaps was not how they'd like it. John says, think Rodgers has run out of ideas. I'm not sure I quite agree with you, John. I think he's got an idea and we tweak the idea. I don't quite see a plan B. I think we have a plan A and a plan A 2.0 at times. But I don't think he's run out of ideas, but I do agree with. I mean, Patrick says here we've been found out, so I think we're a bit predictable. I hope Leicester don't make me regret getting a Southampton ticket today. Hey, listen, I'm going to look at those fixtures in a minute, Ross. I know we've got Chelsea. In no particular order, because I can't remember the order. We've got Chelsea at home is the first one. And then we've got Watford, Newcastle and Southampton in some sort of order. Homes and away. Let me know what we are. Patrick says where we are, which is 12th, is about where we've finished. You're sort of starting to think that maybe, but a couple of wins and it might be different. Reedy says, not the best start, but looking at it, if we win one and the other teams drop points, we go 6th. It's very close. Patrick saying Youri needs a rest. He's running on empty. Well, he's out injured. We don't know how far he's going to be out injured for you. Stephanie's talking here about Brendan going to Man United. It'll never happen. A question for you, Stefan, and everybody else who is watching. And take your Leicester glasses off, your blue tinted specs for a minute. In honesty, is Brendan Rodgers good enough to manage one of the best clubs in the world? And by best, I mean biggest, like man. Listen, I've said take your spectacles off, your blue tinted ones. Man United is one of the biggest clubs in the world, certainly biggest club in the Premier League, certainly one of the biggest clubs in Europe. So is Brendan? I'm wondering if I was to be a Man United fan, which God help us, I never would be. But if I was, what would I think to Brendan Rodgers coming to Leicester, to Man United? Put in your comments if you're being honest, and I want honest. Sometimes I really, take your blue tinted specs off, fans, and let me know what you think. Now, listen, before we get more comments on there, don't forget, I can see how many of you have liked tonight's video. So thank you for all those that have, which is great. If you've not liked it yet, you're on Facebook, give us a like. If you're on Twitter, give us a retweet. Thank you for that. And if you're on YouTube, get as many comments in, of course, and make sure you've subscribed to the video, because that is the deal tonight, every Monday night. If you like, share, and subscribe, I'll get as many of your comments up there as possible. And look, I'm going to boom through some now. Jack says we can't blame VAR for performances. The mentality is poor. Jack, you were there yesterday at the match. Reedy, I chatted with earlier, said he thought the atmosphere was pretty decent from the Leicester fans. But what did you think to it all? Don't forget, Leeds are not having a great season. Leeds, they played 11 games. They've only won 2. Not the toughest game ever, maybe. Paul saying, I was there yesterday and they started really well, but then started the passing side to side. When we look forward, we play so much better. Paul is onto something here, and this brings me back to a bit of the booing that has gone on at the matches. the Boo Boys at times, which we haven't heard much of at Leicester for a long time because we've had a great 10 years. But that's sort of what Paul's saying. And some of the booing is for a bit of the tactics and style of play at the end of matches. I don't know what you think to it. I know, booing a player doesn't help a player. But I sort of get it sometimes when there's a bit of not happy with the tactics and at the end of the match. Personally, and I've said this before, I've only booed once in my memory that I can remember, and that was away at Peterborough. You all know it, against Jermaine Beckford, when he couldn't be asked in the last 5 minutes to even kick a ball. If you were there, you know it. And I would boo him. And I did that day because it was disgraceful. But after that, I'd never boo a player. I wouldn't even boo Riyad Mahrez when he comes back. In fact, I'd give him a clap because he's one of the greatest ever Leicester City players. I'm going off topic here. But I'd never boo that sort of player. I certainly wouldn't boo anybody who's wearing the Leicester shirt. But sometimes, at the end of the match, if you feel they've not put it in, Keith saying the Boo Boys should be made to watch it just in their underpants. Keith, I wouldn't want to see that either in there. Matty, thank you, Matty. Always value Matty's views. He says, big time reality check. Lots of clubs are improving. Yeah, look at West Ham, Matty. Are improving around us, and we are not. And Brendan appears to be unambitious. Do you agree with Matty in there? I mean, look at teams who are higher than us this season. At the moment, we're only 11 games in. West Ham are doing a Leicester. West Ham are doing a Leicester and look like they could challenge for the Premier League title. You've got Arsenal doing better than us from last season. Brighton doing better than us. Wolves doing better than us. Spurs have sacked their manager and are doing better than us. Crystal Palace are doing better than us. Everton are doing better than us. We are actually only 1 point above Southampton at the moment. Just saying. And I know Jack put a stat up there saying we've bought 2 of Southampton's defenders and now they're getting, I think they've had 5 or 6 clean sheets and we've had 1. Let's not get into that debate. But right, as many comments as I can. Andrew says, maybe we should invest in a passing coach. I don't think we need to invest in a passing coach, Andrew. We've got passing to a T. Ian says it was just offside. Yes, we're about the VAR. It was definitely offside. I'm going to have to skip through. The Tacoma Fox says, that's Michael. I'm looking at your profile picture. Of course, it's Michael. Thanks for the watch along yesterday, Michael. Says, Man United's the most recognised football club in the world. I agree. Ian says, he'll improve Man United, but he's not Pep or Klopp's level, which I think you're right in there. And he's an upgrade on Ollie. This is people talking about how would Brendan get on there at the match. So many comments coming in. I'm going to try and I've had to skip through a few, so apologies. Please keep putting the comments in. I'm going to keep getting them in there. Kevin saying the only replacement I can think of is Sean Dyche. She would sort the defence out. Whoa, Kevin. Whoa. Mind you, saying that, I was about to say Sean Dyche at Leicester. I quite enjoyed when we played Burnley the other week. I think they were playing a sort of 4-4-2, hoofing up high. I quite enjoyed watching them play it that way. It was quite aggressive. But anyway, Joe saying Liverpool away, we get 5,672 fans. Yeah, that's in the League Cup. That would be good. It's right before Christmas, though, isn't it? I can't remember the exact date. I think, is it December the 22nd, something like that? Brendan Rodgers has already managed Liverpool and Celtic, both bigger than Leicester City, says Ian. Yes, he has. He in there. He's saying I booed Robbie Savage when he came back playing for Birmingham. Well, bless him. Robbie Savage is the pantomime. I'm going to say the pantomime villain. He's more like the pantomime Dame with that hair, but I'd never boo Robbie Savage. He's a legend for me. Great player. Name says we are missing Fofana 1,000%. Listen, Ndidi was back. Johnny Evans was back yesterday. Fofana, James Justin's getting close. Here's a comment I'm going to put on here. I think this is right. Lil Nap, having a little nap on YouTube, says, we've improved our bench, but every other team improved their playing 11. Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, we've had some of the signings obviously playing in the starting 11, but that's more down to injuries, I think. Andrew's saying, do we need a new defensive coach? I think Kolo Toure would disagree with you on there. And it's interesting to see defensively, goals for, we've scored 16 goals, which is okay-ish. If you look at the table, we've let 18 goals in. Which is, takes you. We've let a lot of goals in. If you're looking at the stats, if you're being a stato, Andrew, we have let in a lot of goals. Jack, who was at the game yesterday, says great atmosphere yesterday from the Foxes. Faithful credit to everyone at Elland Road in the away end, which is interesting in there. We need a new captain, says John Squires. Go on then, John. Who would you put in there as captain? Who would you put in there as captain? Ready for the Johnny Evans lines and who else in there? We do need something so I can see it happening, saying Dave. James Justin can play for the Chelsea game. Yeah, I think he will be back for that. Whether he'd get in there, I'm not sure in there. Oh, here's a good one. I was having this debate earlier with Reedy and Jake and Sam as we were doing some stuff. Rafinha, cross or shot yesterday? I want to know your views in this. Just put cross or shot. For me, it was a wishful cross. It was not a shot. And should Casper have done better? For me, no. He was expecting there could have been at least 2 touches from Leeds players. It's just one of those where as a keeper you're like so annoyed with that. But it was not a shot. I'm not having that as a shot. I think it was put the cross in the right place, but it was a good cross. And if you put a ball in like that and nobody touches it, you've got a chance at the far post. But for me, 100% a cross. But I want you guys to put in the comments, do you think it was a cross or a shot? Let's know what you think to that. Reedy is saying it was definitely a shot. I'm not having it. It was definitely... Jack saying it was a shot. It wasn't. It was a cross. Honestly. Ian, I'm with you. Definitely a cross yesterday. Naheem saying cross. You see, I'm in charge of the comments. I can just keep putting cross on to back me up. But honestly, you can see it in the comments in there. Ross saying it was a goal. Phil, that's what happened. Yes. It was a goal and perhaps not the best defence, but it was a great cross. I want to know what you think. Lee saying it was a shot. Jack saying they worked on that in the training ground. It's a shame we didn't work on that in the training ground, just defending and putting the ball out. Imran saying it was a cross shot. You're probably right. I think that's what it was. It was a cross that if you put it in and nobody touches it, and to be fair, it was a great cross. If anybody touches it, it's very, very hard. Keith saying cross, and Andy saying he was cross. He was cross in there. Elijah was doing the watch along yesterday with Michael. Thank you, Elijah. Says it was a shot. Elijah, you're wrong. Sorry, mate. Joe keeps saying, where am I sitting for the Legia Warsaw game? I will be in the family stand, or what was the family stand, but they can't. It's not the family stand now, so behind the goal in the family stand area. Where are you sitting, Joe? Or will you be watching it on telly, wherever it was? Ian saying good goal, whatever. I think Harvey Barnes was a good goal. I don't think that was a great goal. Andrew, it wasn't a miss kick. Trust me, it was a great cross in there. Michael says it was a cross come shot. Correct. It's going to be a shot. It's not a shot. It's not a shot. Perfect free kick. Aim for the inside far post at a height someone can get a touch, leaving Casper. Yeah, Casper. I can't blame Casper for it. He didn't know whether to come, to go. If you actually watched it a few times in slow-mo, Casper's in the right position, and then he has to take the step back into the left, to his left. He has to do it because it's so close. One touch and the direction of the ball is going to change. Sod's law, nobody touches it, and it just creeps in at the far post there. Why can't we take or defend corners, and why do we get everyone back for corners, no outlet? Paul, been saying this for a while. Vardy or Daka, depends who's on the pitch. Put one of them up for a corner. It takes 2. How many players would have to go and mark Daka or Vardy if you put one of them on the halfway line? How many would it be? The answer to that is 2, if not 3, which would clear the penalty area out. Callum saying it was definitely a shot. JJ, I think, should be back for the Chelsea match. He's certainly in training. Wayne, there we go. Evans for captain. Thank you, Wayne. I was waiting for somebody to say that in there. Kevin says the most thing I'm frustrated about is we still can't defend set pieces. What on earth are they doing on the training pitch all week? I'm not sure, because I don't think we practice taking corners either, to be fair. Ross saying it is worrying. I can't believe we've only kept 1 clean sheet this season, and that was our very first game. Yeah, it's an interesting one. Reedy says that the shot, you've not won. It's a cross. We're going to finish this one in there. Rodgers can learn a thing or two from David Moores on how to set up your team on set pieces. Again, yeah, it's the exact opposite, isn't it? West Ham are all over the place with these set pieces. Zonal marking, Martin. Why do we continue with zonal marking? You could write a book on that, Martin. I think most fans could say that. I've told you before, I spoke to Walshy. He hates it. He's ex-player and he says zonal marking does not work. Why do we have 6 players line up in the 6-yard box from corners? It's called zonal marking, Jack. It is called zonal marking. Joe, I'm going to spin it back to you, Joe. Who do you think we should get in January? Do you know what, Joe? I don't know at the moment. I don't know who we should get in January. I'm a bit... Listen, if I'm honest with you, Joe, and I'll be honest with everybody who's out there, don't forget, like, share, subscribe, do your bit, and I'll get your comments back on. Thank you. We do want your comments. If I'm honest, I'm a bit flummoxed at the moment with Leicester City. It's a bit of a funny one. It's hard to come on here, and I don't want to criticise them too much, if I'm honest, because we're not far off being all right, and we're not points wise. We're not far off. I mean, we're in no man's land, if I'm honest. If you look at the lads out on the pitch, you go, I think we're pretty decent all over. I think we've got good players all over. I think we've got a better squad than we have done last year. We've probably got, if listen, you lot let me know. I think we've perhaps got the best squad of players we've ever had, maybe. But I can't put my finger on it. There's just a bit of bite missing, a bit of passion missing, maybe. And I'm sure the lads on the pitch have got bite and passion. It just seems a bit. I don't know if it's all the passing around the back that gets me. There's times I feel a bit bored watching us. Should I say that? I don't know if I should say that. I feel really guilty saying that. I just feel there's a bit of it. I don't know. Listen, what do you think? I can't put my finger on it. Je ne sais pourquoi, as Del Boy would say. I don't know what it is. Can you tell me what it is? Jack says he saw a bit more bite from the bloke enjoying his burger yesterday in there. Lee says, yeah, but we're not playing good football. At times we've played good football, Lee. This is what frustrates me. At times, I think we are good. Ben is saying maybe Tarkowski is a must. Giving them Vestergaard Dyche would turn him into Maldini. I think Fofana back is like signing a new player in January when he comes back. Yeah. Lee, you could be right. I like what I've seen from Sumeri, but now Ndidi's back. How's Sumeri going to play with Ndidi? So does that mean now Ndidi's back, we signed Sumeri, he's going to go back into the bench? Somebody put in earlier, have we really improved our starting 11? And that's probably the question and answer. But then squad-wise, if we've improved the squad, surely these players can drop in and we should be doing better. Defo, this is the best squad we've had since I can remember, since the mid-90s. Because Imran, it's not the best team, because the best team won the Premier League in 2015 and 16. Without shadow of doubt, that's the best ever Leicester City side, ever. That goes for me without arguing. That is the best ever Leicester City 11 that there was. The proof is they won the Premier League. I could argue all day long if anybody wants to take it on and tell me why the 2015-16 team is not the best team of all time. But today, perhaps we've certainly got one of the best squads ever. But I don't know. Steve saying here, remember we are Leicester and we'll have lots of ups and downs. Teams take us seriously. This is why we need to step up. Yes, it's true. Teams want to play Leicester. Leeds were chuffed to bits. They thought that was their best performance this season. They were pleased to come away with a draw. Ben, maybe Ben's right. He says they're not seeing much hunger anymore. Maybe Rodgers feels he's taken us as far as he possibly can. I think we've got a good side. We've got a good side. But listen, you've got to remember, we turned over Man United 4-2. We look better than them. I've seen Man United, because they're on telly all the blooming time. I saw them lose 5-0 to Liverpool. They were rubbish. I saw them lose at the weekend 2-0 to Man City. I saw them lose to us 4-2. I think we're better than Man United. Genuinely, I think most of our players are better than Man United. I don't know if you agree. But if we are better than Man United, how come they're in 6th and we're in 12th? And yeah, listen, I know we're only 2 points behind them, so a win yesterday would have made that. Seen more bite in my salad, says Ross. Naeem says tactics not working, passing back when we get forward, a bit of a. You've said it. You've said the words, haven't you? You said Claude Puel. Michael says, I agree with you. I hate this passing around the back. What happened to the good old hoofing up the pitch and see what happens? I think, Michael, sometimes I think we could play a bit more direct occasionally, knowing that we've got Jamie Vardy, knowing that we've got Patson Dakar. I think occasionally we could move the ball a bit quicker. It's a bit predictable, maybe. I don't think any new signings are needed, says Keith. Stick with what we've got. Lee saying, I don't care if we lose, draw, or win, as long as we play good football. There's times where, Lee, I would disagree and say, as long as we win, I don't care. John saying play two up front with Vardy and Nacho in there. Is that what it is? I'm going to skip through a few comments here. We still need a quality right winger. Lookman is a good squad player, but his final ball needs to be better. And that, Ian, takes us back to, did we sign players in the summer who make the starting 11 and are better than what we already had? Jim, thank you, Jim, for getting your comment in. Says we should put a few balls over the top. Yes. Occasionally, yes. Absolutely in there. Noel says Daka start, you going next game. Yes, Chelsea at home. Daka starts, says Noel. Okay, fair enough. Teams just let us. Yes, you see, Steve's on something here. Let us have the ball because we're no threat at all. We're far too slow. Far too often, it's Sonku and Evans and Sonku. We've been through this before, haven't you? Joe saying, would I sign Lookman in the summer? Not at the moment, Joe. If I'm honest, I wouldn't. I think he's okay. I don't know. That's just my opinion. I don't know what most Leicester fans. Joe saying, would you sign Lookman in the summer? At the moment, I wouldn't. No, I just wouldn't. At the moment, I'm hoping he's okay. Depends how much for, maybe, Joe. If he was 10 million, yeah, maybe. Squad player. But I'm yet to be amazed-balled by him. Maybe I'm the only Leicester fan. I don't know. What do you think? Answer, Joe. This is your show. This is Leicester Fan TV. We talk about what you want. If you want to say whatever you guys want to put on here, I'll put it on there. I'll just shove it up there and we react to it. Michael, with the greatest profile picture every week, Michael, says we only sign squad players, not first 11. I think that is what it could be. Steve Yates says, we play up to the edge of the box is good, but needs to be a lot faster. Yeah, mix it up with the long ball. I think we can see that. We come from, you guys like me. We all saw the Premier League winning side. We saw how it was, what it was. Steve, he's only on loan, but I agree. Ian saying this is about Lookman. He's a rotation player for cup games. I'm probably with you on that, Ian. Andrew saying Lookman is the new under. Again, probably with you on that. Lookman is like great, literally no difference whatsoever, says Sean. Ian saying we have the ability when we play, we can be superb. It's so frustrating watching the play we play now. I'll go back to Ian. Listen, I'll go back to that Brighton away goal we scored. Sensational. That's one of the nicest Leicester City goals I've ever seen in 45 years of watching Leicester. I love watching that. It was superb. It's like, I sort of feel like how when I've been outside watching Arsenal for the last 5-6 years, whatever, and you see their fans and you see them going, God, do we always have to pass it into the net? Do we always have to score one goal? And sometimes you think, yeah, good old Leicester. We just over the top. Vardy chases it. Boom, in you get. Jack says he rates Sumari. I do rate Sumari, but Jack, question, answer, please. Sumari and Ndidi in the same side? And T-Element and Madison? Sort out that midfield. How do you play all those players together? Isn't Sumari just an Ndidi replacement, maybe? We're unlucky to have European football We're unlikely to have European football next year, so Lookman could be best on offer, says Matty. It's an interesting one in there. Watched West Ham yesterday, and they're playing like we did when we won the league. Yeah, Steve, I agree. I agree. I've seen bits of them this season. They play fast, they play direct, they muscle it around. Ian say it's hard to improve on Urian and Diddy in midfield. We needed depth in there, which is what Sumeri is, Ian. That's what it is. Andrew saying Pratt won't come back. I don't know if you've read the stuff with Dennis Pratt. He doesn't know why he's ended up out in Italy. He doesn't know what's happened. He thought he had a good season. I thought he had a good season. I'd like to see more of him. It was a shame. Simari was okay, says Jim, but too slow with his passing. Steve saying, why do we never stick one man on the halfway line defending corners? We've had this before, Steve. Steve, listen, you and me, why don't we put somebody on the post to defend corners and free kicks? Honestly, if we'd had somebody on the... sometimes it's so easy, isn't it? Sumari needs to be dropped for a game or two, not being at his levels. Matters, Yuri, and Ndidi. Now, listen, Ndidi will get back into that team and will start. And I'm not sure that Sumari... I'm not sure where you fit a Sumari into that. Ryan says, why do we never, ever have the starting same 11? Well, bit of injuries in there, bit of all sorts. And, you know, that's how I feel. I just feel a bit like, don't know where to look at the moment with Leicester. Sometimes it can be good. Sometimes it can be really good. Sometimes it just, I've said it before, I hate to say it, can be a bit boring. But listen, like, share and subscribe wherever you're watching for Leicester Fan TV. That is absolutely brilliant. What have we got coming up this week? Listen, there's no football. We all hate it when there's no football on because it's not. How many international breaks are we going to have this year? It feels like we play 2 games and we have an international break. I don't even know what's going on with the international breaks at the moment. This week, I know we've got Jack's doing a roundup show on Wednesday. I know that. There's no Premier League predictions because there's no Premier League matches on Thursday. Reed is doing his show on Friday. And I think Jack's going to do a WSL show tomorrow. And, of course, Jamie is here on Sunday morning with an aftermath show. There's a lot. I think there's a lot for us to... Hopefully, I've started the ball rolling for you guys this week and for all the other Leicester Fan TV content crew. Just 11 games in, 15 points, it would see us in 12th, which based on the last couple of years and probably based on the amount of money we have spent over the past couple of years, perhaps not quite good enough. Listen, thanks to all the guys at ADT, Hollogram, Tiger, Peter's Pizza, Pukka Pies, Pink Car Leasing, Leicester Riders, Fox's Arms, Newby Co, and our charity that we like to support, Hope Against Cancer. Thanks for all your comments. Can't do it without your comments. So thank you so much to everybody who's commented. Let's try and get as many up on screen in the last 5 seconds as we can. I can't get you all up here. Ian, thank you for yours. Wayne, thank you for yours. Sonderax, Ross, Lee, Steve, Ryan, Lee again. Gail, thank you. Andy, Jim, Steve. Honestly, Charlie, there's been hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of comments tonight. Thank you so much. Don't forget, join the lads later this week on Leicester Fan TV. From me, Phil, see you next Monday, 7:30 p.m. live every week.
Thanks for watching Leicester Fan TV. Thanks to our sponsors, ADT Taxis, Everards, Pukka Pies, Pink Car Leasing, Leicester Riders, Hollogram, The Fox's Arms, Peter's Pizzeria, Hope Against Cancer, and Newby Co estate agents. Make sure to follow us on all of our social channels at Leicester Fan TV. Visit our website, leicesterfantv.com.